Welcome to the show. In tonight's episode, we're gonna go do some real, authentic gooning, and not in the goot cave, but it's nighttime, so goons out, ooh! So got ourselves our 10-inch AR-15 pistol, got ourselves our doubtfully useful camouflage pattern, our swag patch, wow, our infrared stuff, woo! Got ourselves our cry knee pads, and our micro chest rig with no sort of sustainability whatsoever. No rucksack, no water, no assault pack, just nothing. We're ready for the gram. And I'll go and tell you some stories about some goobers that were goofing off a bit too much. Now, instead of LARP around in the desert and throwing pyro and fireworks everywhere, using tracer rounds all the time, using tannerite, and potentially causing a desert fire or a bushfire, and endangering thousands of lives and causing millions of dollars worth of property damage, I'll instead talk about a story about these two goobers who did it for the gram by racking up and posting their own federal firearms felonies and NFA violations, as well as poaching a federally protected species. Let's go do that sort of story. Protagonists of the story are Christopher James Arnott, a 32-year-old man living in Loveland, Colorado, as well as Cameron John Fakema, a 36-year-old man from Yoralinda, California. I couldn't identify which one is which, and I can't get too many clear pictures of them, so here are some professional artist reconstructions of what they look like. I may have transposed the images of the two men, but you'll get the general idea. Looking at their website, it seems that much of their information has their own blogs with an unknown entry for their time and date. We could extrapolate that and use the Wayback Machine of when these articles are published, but on their site itself, it's unknown, or not readily apparent. Information within these articles seems to be almost copy-pasted from information from industry leaders of night vision, or night vision vendors, or from well-known people who showcase it as such as Hop or Brassfax. Looking at the Wayback Machine, it seems that the website has been online since February 2022. Published videos by Hop was going back as far as 2020 with the same information. Gloom Group is what I would consider tactical LARP raider slop. The kind that has an obsession with multicam black, LARPing in the desert with no use of sustainment such as carrying around water or ammunition, and literally taking the whole embodiment of goons out, and relying on Instagram for the publicity, which of right now is currently locked down. So let's go figure out why it's locked down and see what sort of content they have posted on Instagram, if we could find any. No. Well, at around July of 2022, an Instagram image has been floating around of one of the men from Gloom Group with a dead donkey. Now let's go figure out why it's locked down and see what sort of content they have posted on Instagram, if we could find any. I had been hunting the same desert area every weekend for months. Every weekend I shot coyote and desert kit fox. And besides jackrabbit, I had never seen another living animal, or tracks of such, in that whole desert. I had a buddy who got nods and took him out on his first hunt on a 0% illuminite. Went to head up all the honey holes to make a good first hunt for him. First stand we saw, and missed a fox. So moved around to the second stand, where I had luck several times before. I put the call out about 50 yards from our location, and after settling in, start up a jackrabbit distress call. About 2 minutes after the call starts, I scan with my illuminator and spot eyes behind a bush, about 25 yards past the call, about 75 yards from us. A set of eyes with pointy ears looking at a dying jackrabbit call from behind a bush. Sounds like a coyote to me. I nudge my buddy who gets his gun up, and we light him up together. Anyways, turns out there's wild burros in that desert, and this is the picture we took after the confusion passed and after we stopped laughing. I've never seen another donkey in that desert since. So the lesson on 0% illuminates, take that extra second or two for PID. Donkeys are a lot heavier than coyotes. Now, equally as morbid as it is funny, on Gloom Group's blog there is a post titled Predator Hunting versus Flat Range Night Vision Training, where they preach about PID, or Positive Identification of Target, where on the article, and I quote, "Hunting under night vision is going to be a bit more difficult, especially with multiple animals may respond to the same kind of call. Is it a coyote? Or is it a fox, bobcat, house cat, donkey, dog, or raccoon? All things we've had pop out or peek out around a bush when we're hunting. You have to make the right call, and you may only have a second, literally, to do it. So, what are the consequences of killing a wild donkey out in the Mojave Desert for the gram? A lot, actually. According to the Justice Department, starting at November 5th, 2021, both Arnett and Fakema both went to public land managed by the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, north of Yorimo, California, and San Bernardino County in the Mojave Desert. Early in the next morning, at approximately 1 in the morning, both of them started shooting at a group of wild donkeys, striking and killing 3 of them. One of those rounds has struck a donkey in the back, paralyzing it, and then it was in agonizing pain while it was dying. This is a violation of the Wild Free Roaming Horses and Burros Act of 1971, which also includes violations of the 1934 National Firearms Act, or NFA, which they possessed rifles with a barrel length less than that of 16 inches without registration. A violation of the NFA could mean 10 years in federal prison or a fine up to $250,000. The 2 plea agreements between them and the government, in both the United States v. Arnett and the United States v. Fakema plea deals. Both of them, in their plea deal, has forfeited all their firearms, ammunition, firearms accessories, night vision equipment, and other tactical gear. Both of them, in their individual plea deals, were recommended a sentence of 3 years probation and a fine of no less than $2,000. Okay, now we have this information. How can we determine with certainty that both Fakema and Arnett are indeed a part of Gloom Group and that they are involved in the Instagram donkey incident? Let's go find out. In Arnett's plea deal, there are several items in the exact same configuration as is posted on the blog post of Gloom Group. Let's take a look at the review on the Streamlight TLR VIR2 infrared weapon mounted light, which is mounted on a CZ P10C pistol, as well as an HK SP5 with the rear end edited out in the photos. Another firearm seized in the plea deal is an SLR SBR AR-15 pattern firearm, which is seen in the blog post of a review on the Trijicon RMR Type 2 micro red dot reflex sight. In Fakema's plea deal, we have an AR-15 with a radian lower receiver and a short-barreled BCM upper receiver that is seized. This is shown in a blog post of a review of the Unity Optic Riser. With these exact firearm configurations and the descriptions from the Department of Justice, as well as Gloom Group's blogs and Instagram posts, we can determine that these individuals with this configuration of items are linked together. With the press release by the Department of Justice, as well as the contents of the plea deal, I can determine that Arnett and Fakema are indeed the individuals in the Gloom Group involved in this donkey incident. Well, that was dumb. What can we learn from this? Well, as much as I hate to pay unconstitutional taxes, make sure your firearm does comply with federal regulations and the NFA. For example, Arnett's 14.7-inch SLR AR-15 rifle, that can easily be pinned and welded to 16 inches. And no, I'm not going to get on my high horse or be a hypocrite and say you should not comply with the NFA. Especially when doing it while having a registered short-barreled rifle with a registered suppressor. Unlike some people in this sort of genre of content. But also don't violate other federal laws. Don't poach and kill federally protected species. And for God's sakes, don't do it for internet clout and post it on social media. You will get memed on, you'll get dunked on, you will be clowned on, and you will be arrested, you will be possibly be thrown in jail, have a huge fine, and have your stuff be seized by the government. So don't do that. Now, a big thank you to Russell Fagan of KE Arms for archiving and screenshotting these sorts of social media and Instagram posts by Gloom Group. Without you, This video will not be able to be created, so I greatly thank you for that. Also, I did my due diligence and tried to contact Gloom Group to see what their side of the story is, which, unfortunately, I'm not able to get a hold of them. Their email is non-functional, and they locked down their Instagram account. Now, if you do enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Like, comment, subscribe. If you don't have anything to say to comment, put down moons out, goons out, or something as cringe and dumb as that. And for you guys who are longtime subscribers, I greatly thank you. If you hadn't, I greatly encourage you to subscribe. There has been very interesting stuff published this week. Earlier, over the weekend, I have done some interviews and coverage of the 2024 Arizona Firearms Festival, as well as the Suppressed Range Day event. Both of them are really, really cool and interesting. And I greatly thank you for your viewership and support. It really means a lot. This video is brought to you by Glow So Bright. Thank you very much for watching. Oh look, a coyote!